Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Napa Truck Series Battle at the Beach main event. We're gearing up for 105 laps of action. On pole after random draw, Gatlin Downey and Edward Siemba. Row 2, Malik Nevins, Luke Martin, your 2021 Napa Truck Series champion. Row 3, we've got Jordan Fisher and Bobo Jones. Row 4 is Jeff James and William Brock. And in row 5, we've got Zachary Bilson and Lane Sanders. So 105 laps, 26 drivers getting ready to tackle this racetrack. Just a fun little exhibition race. We've got some Sony Cup Series drivers, some Hardee's National Series drivers such as John Arndt, RJ Bishop. Arndt being a Sony Cup driver, of course. Chris Dodd in this race for Burns Motorsports. All kinds of talent up and down this field. Who knows who's gonna get it done? Not anticipating any pit stops, but if we get a caution, you never know. Some drivers might want to pit for fresh tires. They do have that option here today on this back straightaway course as a bit of a prelude to the main event, the Daytona 200, going to be next week. As you see Kyle Vaughters and Nick Breeding in the final row. Let's go trackside for the command to fire engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
Pace truck will make its way down into the pit lane. 105 laps of action. We only saw one spin throughout all of the heats and the last chance qualifier. But now we've got 26 trucks jam-packed together coming to the green flag for the first ever Napa Truck Series Battle at the Beach. Seeing AJ Jones go 3 wide there. Bilson in the midst of a 3 wide situation as well. Saw Jordan Fisher pushing the heck out of Malik Nevins. Those two drivers, very good friends, now going to be fighting for a championship, but not quite yet. This race, again, exhibition. No points, just a little bit of purse money and a lot of fun. Just going to let these guys beat and bang all night long. So far, it's the teammates of Gatlin Downey and Edward Siemba as Fisher gonna push his nose in there to the inside of Malik Nevins, looking to make it an Ange Auto 1, 2, 3. Here comes Jeff James in the 8, looking to bring Breeding Motorsports to the front. 3 wide situation there between John Arndt, Zachary Bilson, and Bobo Jones. But look at the run Bobo gets, but he's going to pull right down in front of Arndt from the top. He tried to do it, but Arndt said, no way, no siree. You can't get in the way of Macho Man Savage in this Slim Jim number 65 Ram. Now Bilson in the middle, 3 wide with AJ Jones. We saw Bilson race from the back in his heat race after a terrible qualifying outing. Jeff James now side by side with teammate Malik Nevins. Now it's Fisher side by side with Edward Siemba for second as Downey leads the field on the 5th lap of the race. These drivers are pushing it a little harder. They've gotten a better handle on this track. In the heat races, we saw times of 23.9s and 24.1s. Now we're seeing almost half a second faster, if not more than that. 23 3s, 4s, and 5s. You see Siemba trying to clear Jordan Fisher. Now a bit of a 3 wide behind them almost. As Luke Martin looks to the inside of his old truck. It's not a number 15, but the number 48 is that truck. Coming into this season, Malik Nevins with the best truck on the team. Going to be interesting to watch Nevins this year, but so far he is going backwards in this exhibition. Oh, and Bilson just got turned into the tires. Damage for Ricky Freeman Jr. and John Arndt. And that's going to be the first caution flag of the race. Looks like Downey is still racing back, but everybody else has taken the yellow. It looked like Bilson just got hooked right off of turn 4. First caution of the race here on lap number 7. So the drivers are fighting it out, trying to figure out who's in what order. Downey will slow and wait for them. Very small racetrack here. So Vaughters will pass the pace truck, and we'll take a look at what brought out this first yellow. Well, Bilson and Arndt were racing very hard for what was 7th place. You see, going into turn 3, Arndt's going to get right up against him on the quarter panel, and then he just drives through him off the corner. And then Ricky Freeman Jr. just can't get on the brakes. RJ Bishop gets into the 88. You saw Bobo Jones get clipped there as well. So a tough break for Bilson. His night in this exhibition race already over. Going back racing, 12 laps will be completed. Zachary Bilson, the lone retiree. Ricky Freeman Jr., RJ Bishop, John Arndt, all electing to continue with their damaged race trucks. Ricky Freeman Jr.'s truck no longer has a front nose. Downey is the leader, and Siemba gets sent by his teammate of Jordan Fisher, and Jeff James will pounce to the inside, 3 wide. Wild restart for the Orange Auto drivers. Now Downey is only in this 70 truck for the exhibition. Bob Burns will drive that truck full time, but Burns got approached by Downey. Downey wanted to run this race, and Burns said he could go ahead and do it. Fisher and Siemba, though, they are running full time as well. So not really what you want to do. I know it's not a points race, but that's still your teammate that you just shoved up all the way to the outside of the track. Now this track is flat, and you wouldn't think you could get runs on the outside, but you can do so. These drivers have been able to find a lot of grip running the middle lane through the turns. So now Downey, though, continuing to lead, in control of this race. Now it's Fisher and Siemba side by side for 2nd. Jeff James in 4th, Malik Nevins in 5th. Battle now on for 6th between Brock and Luke Martin. Bobo Jones 8th, Cody Goforth 9th, in the battle for the final position in the top 10. Boils down to JD Martin and AJ Jones. Going to do a little bit of a run through the field here. We've got Larry Hagan side by side with Lane Sanders for 12th. Make it now side by side with Jones for 11th. Springer side by side with Chris Dodd. That is for 14th place. Teammate Ryan Dagby to Springer right behind them. He's got a bumper full of Austin Rogers. There's Nick Breeding, who started 26, your last chance qualifier winner, has made it up to 18th place. Gonna go a little wide there in the turn 1, but he'll get the power down off of turn 2 and drive away from Ian Brandt. Eric Monaco rounding out the top 20. And then the rest of the running order: Ace Wild, Ricky Freeman Jr., Kyle Vaughters, RJ Bishop, and John Arndt. I gotta say, some of the surprises to make this race, in my opinion, were the 2 of Kyle Vaughters, who we know controversially spun DeLello in his heat race and finished 5th. Gave DeLello 0 chance to fight for it in the heat, and then DeLello had to start outside of the top 5 in the last chance qualifier, but nobody had anything for Nick Breeding, and I don't think a front row position would have mattered for DeLello. Ricky Freeman Jr. also kind of surprised me, as did these other 3, Ace Wild, Eric Monaco, and Ian Brandt. Did not expect any of these drivers to make the race. You know, some surprises to not make the race included guys like Zachary DeLello and Aiden Smith. Of course, like Roberto Crown Jr., Griffin Lapel McDermott, Alexa Lushon, Drivers like that, you know, kind of shocked me that they could not manage to make this thing. But it just goes to show that this could be quite the action-packed season. That's the running line this year. Last year, we had the whole going down on it catchphrase. This year, it's all about action. What kind of action will we see in the Napa Truck Series this season? Especially with all the new faces coming from whether it's the Sony Cup Series or the Hardee's National Series. And then the returning regulars, of course, of the Napa Truck Series. Of course, you got William Brock, very experienced Hardee's National Series driver, coming down to drive for Coyote Autosport. Malik Nevins, Napa Truck Series driver, second year in the making. Used to run Sony Cup Series. And then, of course, Jordan Fisher is the big one who's made the drop. As Edward Siemba was a bit of a surprise, dropping back down from the Hardee's Series. But we've seen what dropping down can do for somebody's career, whether it's Luke Martin, who's an established Sony Cup Series driver, just coming down to try and get the trifecta of championships to make history. But Gatlin Downey's a prime example of taking a year back down in Napa could help push you, bounce you, trampoline you per se if you want, right back up to the Hardee's National Series, because Downey was struggling in Hardee's, wasn't getting much going on, came down to the Napa Truck Series with Anja Auto last year, got that win at Richmond, and he finished third in the points with 6 top 5s and 15 top 10s, average finishing position a 9.73. Didn't start on the pole at all, but this guy right here, Gatlin Downey, he was kind of a dark horse the whole year. Finished top 3 in the points is quite something, especially in the truck that won the championship in 2020 with Austin Murray. So Downey, of course, now driving for, I believe it's Fisher Motorsports in the Hardee's National Series. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It has been a while since I looked at the Hardee's National Series driver team chart. See, Siemba got a little wiggly there off of 4. Not sure if there was contact with Fisher, but it's an Anjado, a 1-2-3, with a Breeding Enterprises 4 and 5 as Bilson is out of the race. Got a top 5 breakaway from the rest of the field. It's still Downey, Siemba, Fisher, Jeff James, and Malik Nevins, the top 5. Single filed it out. And then over 3 seconds back is William Brock in 6th place. Bobo Jones 7th. Battle is on for 8th between Cody Goforth and Luke Martin. That's Luke Martin's #1 protege down here in the Napa Truck Series. Took Cody under his wing last year, and it has seemed to have helped Cody a decent amount, as he's going to pass Luke Martin, who is driving a Morris Motorsports truck. Mentioned it in the heats. In the last chance qualifier as well. Morris Motorsports now with a technical alliance from Anjado, and Luke crosses Cody right back over, looking to take that position back. Meanwhile, behind them, battle is on for 9th between Larry Hagan and Lane Sanders. Hagan, another driver, stepping away from Breeding Enterprises, but he stays in the Napa Truck Series. Luke Martin, of course, went up to the Hardee's National Series to drive for Fisher Motorsports. But Hagan was driving that 88 truck for Breeding last year. Very dominant at the super speedways. Kind of honestly should have won both Daytona and Pensacola, but super speedway races, anybody can win them if you make the right moves, as he's all over the quarter panel of Cody Goforth. Hagan now driving for the team that took away his win, or what could have been his win, at Pensacola. That was Dewey Schramm III, who won in the number 65 truck. Hagan was very strong in the Daytona 200. He's in a truck that's locked into the field, so it's going to be interesting to watch Hagan come to super speedways this year, as we're also going to Talladega. First time we'll be going to Dega since 2020. So watch out for Hagan. He is the super speedway guy to watch out for. Meanwhile, behind them is Kyle Springer in 12th place, the man who struggled to get top 10s the entire second half of the season. And there's rumors that S3 Motorsports is concerned about what their pace could be coming into this year. Haven't really seen the same pace out of this team in the heats and last chance qualifier. While it is a short track and it is just an exhibition, but this is the start of the year. You got to be a little worried. You know, Daytona, this truck was very good at Daytona last year. So who knows? There's still a lot to find out going into this season. But S3 Motorsports could be on the fall. Very similar to what we saw at a Flipside Motorsports at the end of 2020 and then throughout the entire 2021 season. So Flipside Motorsports and all of the Mercedes teams elected not to enter this event. So they want to save their equipment for the Daytona 200. Short track versus super speedway, of course, but you know, Mercedes, new manufacturer in the Napa Truck Series. As, oh man, JD Martin all over AJ Jones. And I think a lot of drivers don't want to give AJ any kind of break, as JD's up in his bumper once again. Already talked about it in the heats. You know, wrecked Tyler Black in Finland, and then wrecked Larry Hagan on the pit access road at Homestead. And then Kyle Springer got taken out of that race, and that ultimately kind of took Springer out of the championship hunt. Nick Breeding has made his way up to 15th, so he continues to drive forward. Meanwhile, Gatlin Downey has closed up on John Arndt. And now we're going to see what lap traffic will do to the top 5. Downey made it by John Arndt, but Jordan Fisher got by the 65. He used them as a pick to get by Siemba for second place. It's still the 8 and the 48. You see Kyle Vaughters is now at the back. And we do have this new thing this year called the Raise Up, which is if you are the first truck a lap down, you can get a lap back under a caution flag. So right now the first one up would be the 65 of Arndt. Raise Up sponsored by Raise Energy. The Raise Energy guys, of course, with the perfect award name, or whatever you want to call it, for Lucky Dog, as Downey is all over Ricky Freeman Jr. He's going to turn him into the tires and take himself out of the lead. Caution flag is out for the second time tonight. And Downey goes from the lead to 5th place. That is ultimately going to take the 92 out of the race. But we've got pit stops. Did not expect this at all. So pit stops here on lap 55. A little bit past halfway. Didn't think anybody would want to come in. Didn't know if tire wear was that much of an issue. Downey, you can see the front end is kicked out to the right a little bit. This track is mostly about straightaway speed. We'll have to see what that does to his truck, as Fisher will get out contact from Siemba. Jeff James, Nevins, Luke Martin, Rock, Bobo Jones. Downey will jump there. We'll get you guys to a replay. You see Downey gets right into him going into turn 3, and he never lets off, and he just hooks him. Fisher just kind of scrapes by. Same thing with Jeff James. This accident could have been a lot worse. Much like the first one where Bilson got turned into the tires. But John Arndt is the first recipient of the Raise Up pass. And he will get back on the lead lap. So the field has been shuffled. There will be 45 laps of racing to go. Jordan Fisher, the new race leader. Gatlin Downey relegated to 8th place. He's led the entire race up to this point. No more. Everybody pretty much moves up a position. And Luke Martin to the inside of Evans as Jeff James all over the quarter panel of Edward Ziemba. Oh, and Jeff James is pitting. What on earth? The restart appeared to be clean. But the 8 of Jeff James is coming down pit road. And John Arndt is coming down right behind him. He just got a lucky dog. What on earth is going on here? Is there a penalty? It appears there was. Stop and go for the 8 and the 65, and I don't know why. But they were black flagged. John Arndt was damaged. I mean, it was just kind of a benefit for him to get the lead back on the lead lap, but Jeff James just got taken out of a top 3 spot. And the Breeding Enterprises team is fuming at Race Control, and Race Control will not give them an answer on why the 8 was black flagged there. The restart was very clean. And the 8 made no peek to the inside of Ziemba before the start-finish line. I am bamboozled. Well, he got his lap back just to be about to go a lap down once again. By the way, Ricky Freeman Jr. retired, if it wasn't obvious. Kyle Vaughters still a lap down. Officials electing not to do a double file restart here either. So the 2 restarted at the back of the pack. Jordan Fisher still leads. So far, no real challenge from Edward Ziemba. Malik Nevins inherited 3rd, but Gatlin Downey has been on a bit of a charge back up towards the front. He's made it back up to 5th, despite this slightly damaged race truck. Cody Goforth 6th, William Brock 7th. Springer is in 8th, and look who is in the top 10. It's the 89 of Nick Breeding, man. What does this say about the Morris Motorsports trucks? If Breeding is able to go from 26th to the top 10, with the help of 2 cautions, don't get me wrong, but still, gotta have the pace to beat the other guys at the front. And he's passing Bobo Jones, who's in a North Border Motorsports truck. And those Toyotas, while they had inexperienced drivers in them last year, those Toyotas are very fast trucks as well. Now Bobo under fire from AJ Jones. Brandon Morris will drive the 55 full-time, and Randy Riggs Jr. will drive the 89 full-time at least. That's what appears to be the plan for these Morris trucks. But they haven't really announced any plans. There were rumors of getting some drivers from the Sony Cup Series and Hardy's National Series to run races again for the team. But there has been nothing to hear. So yeah, no idea what the Morris team is thinking. But these paint schemes that are being ran here in this race, they are special paint schemes that won't be seen all year. Breeding in the green scheme, and Brandon Morris in the yellow scheme. Brandon trying to set up a crossover on Gatlin Downey. That's a teammate in the Hardy's National Series. But back to the paint scheme thing. The 55 will have schemes of white and black, while the 89 has the blue and red. Same paint schemes we saw last year. John Arndt has been lapped once again, and Fisher has a 1-second lead over Edward Ziemba. So far, no signs of a challenge from the 80 of Ziemba. The margin continues to grow. Coming to 19 laps to go, this time by as Gatlin Downey puts a move on Malik Nevins for third. Fastest lap of the race belongs to Fisher, a 23:01.8. That's a second faster than times we saw in the heat races. Now, times for qualifying were even faster than that. Malik Nevins ran the fastest time of a 22:1.42, so these trucks were really stripped out for qualifying, but for the race, it's a much different story. Nevins trying to fight off Downey for third. Not worth anything, but it's a race, and you're going to race as hard as you can. Luke Martin just chilling in fifth. Goforth in sixth place. Brock, Springer, Breeding, Bobo Jones. That's the top 10. AJ Jones in 11th, Hagan 12th, JD Martin 13th, Lane Sanders 14th. Then a gap back to Austin Rogers in 15th. Chris Dodd, Ryan Dagby. Jeff James has powered his way back up to 18th after the black flag that we don't know what it was for. That's one way to say it. Eric Monaco and RJ Bishop round out the top 20. We know Bishop's got a little bit of damage, but he is still out driving Ace Wild and Ian Brandt, as well as Kyle Vaughters. As Vaughters is actually a lap down and could be looking at going 2 laps down. Coming to 14 laps to go, it's still a neck-and-neck fight for third between Gatlin Downey and Malik Nevins. No real battles going on elsewhere around the racetrack. This is the fight to watch. And then you got to wonder if Downey can set his sights on his teammate in the 80 of Edward Ziemba. Downey off up turn 2. There is clear on Malik Nevins. Will Nevins try the crossover? He's going to dive it in. Can't quite get back under the 70 machine. And Downey moves on up to third place with 12 laps to go. Nevins not giving up by any means. But now it's a 1.6 second gap to Jordan Fisher for Ziemba. But Fisher's got lap traffic ahead in the form of the 2, the 9, and the 6. Could the lap traffic play a role to help Edward Ziemba? Meanwhile, Malik Nevins fighting back to the inside of Gatlin Downey. Not giving up for this podium spot is the 48 machine. As William Brock has kind of had a bit of a struggle getting by the lap truck of John Arndt. There you see still side by side with the 65. Meanwhile, Bobo Jones has been looking to the inside of Nick Breeding. Hagan to the inside of AJ Jones. Bobo now looking to take what would be 9th place away from Breeding as Brock finally clears the 65 of John Arndt. Meanwhile, Nevins has gotten back around the 70 of Gatlin Downey. As Fisher has approached lap traffic. Now, can he avoid the mistake Downey made? Don't wreck the lap truck. Just move to their inside or push him out of the way. But just don't dump him off the corner. That's a bad idea. Fisher all over Votter's back end. Gonna slide out to the right off the corner. Downey back to the inside of Nevins. With 6 laps to go, and that's what I said not to do. But I'm not Jordan Fisher's spotter or crew chief, so he's gonna give a little shunt here to Votters. Kind of tell him, hey man, I'm here and I'm the leader. Right now it looks like Fisher is being cost time from this. Yes indeed, look at that, 0.6 of a second that time by. Edward just needs Votters to hold up Fisher a little more. This is letting him close the gap. Downey can see him again too. Gotta try and get by Nevins here with 4 laps to go. Down another 1/10 of a second. If Fisher can get by Votters, I think he'll lock this thing up. That time by looks to the inside. Getting the horsepower down. Gonna get to the inside of Votters as the lead shrinks another 1/10.5, but through the corner and off the corner, Fisher just about clear of the 2. And he will get by the 2 machine. 2 laps to go in the Napa Truck Series Battle at the Beach. The Sony Cup Series will be running this track for the 2nd race of the season, and it's going to be the first time in a long time the Sony Cup Series has done heats and a last chance qualifier to see drivers make the show. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch compared to this. This is just for fun. That race is going to have points on the line. As Fisher goes a little wide in the 1 and 2, Siemba's right there, getting by Votters. But he was on the inside line. Fisher using the longer line to his advantage. Fisher will get right up to the back of Ian Bramblett off of turn 4. Checkered flag in the air. Jordan Fisher wins the Napa Truck Series Battle at the Beach. For the first ever exhibition win in the Napa Truck Series history. Fisher with 2 points paying wins, Chicagoland 2020. And then, oh man. Is it Atlanta? Yeah, Atlanta of 2021. So Fisher came into the year as the favorite, and I think it's clear to say he has cemented that just that little bit more. Now, while it was only a field of 26, just remember, all the drivers he's competing against for the championship, the main guys, they were all in this race. Siemba comes home second, got it back down to a half second thanks to the lap trucks. Downey was able to pull ahead of Nevins there at the end for third. Luke Martin rounding out the top 5. We'll see him in the 15 for North Border in the Daytona 200. Cody Goforth, William Brock, Kyle Springer, Bobo Jones, and AJ Jones, the top 10. Rest of your finishing results will scroll along the screens as we get the first burnout of the season. And with that said, I will see you guys not for the Daytona 200, but the Daytona 200 go or go home qualifying race. Top 8 race their way in. 4 drivers will get in on provisionals. And if one of those drivers of Luke Martin, for example, if Luke Martin isn't in that top 8, he will get in on the first ever Napa Truck Series Past Champions Provisional, which would make it quite interesting for those other provisional positions. But we can get into all of that next week. Go or Go Home race will be live on Monday. Time to be determined, but that is when I will see you guys next time. So enough chit chat. Here's your burnout. Here's your finishing results. See y'all next time.
Bye.